G'day ladies and gentlemen, the Buttsman here, hope you're doing well, and this is a regular episode of the Butterfield Broadcast News Service Systems, and this part of the video was written into the script to be perhaps at the end of the video. It was the most important part, and that was the design at the start, but I felt that because this topic and this story is so recent and so it's a horrible story, and I think I needed to touch on it, and I needed to touch on it in a way that was respectful to everybody involved, because there's a lot of people hurting at this very minute, so I will endeavour to do that to the best of my ability. But on Sunday night, a video surfaced. It was a protest where a group of young people, liberal people stormed an event at a library. Now, this event was held by a group of drag queens, for some reason, who were reading to children. Now, at the very surface of that, it doesn't sound too bad. You know, you got people dressed up, men dressed up in drag, and they're reading to kids. So what? Who cares? And that was my general take off that. I mean, straight away when you hear that on the news, you think, whatever, who cares? That doesn't really affect anyone. But, you know, we also don't know what the drag queens in this case were reading to the kids. We don't know how the kids were taking that on board, what their parents were explaining to them. Does this make them question their own sexuality? Does this make them question whether they're a boy or a girl? Does this confuse young kids? And this is a debate that we've had in the past. I imagine most of the kids, when these dudes walked out dressed like that, they probably would have giggled, and they probably wouldn't have thought anything about it. But I know in the US, when they've had these drag queen events, they have been a little bit more suspicious. I mean, they have these events where they read these stories to kids, and the stories are all about how gender expression and gender identity is yours, and you can be whatever you want. And I think that is very, very confusing to young children, especially when they're growing up and they're at this age where they don't know what the fuck's going on in their own lives, and then to throw all these ideas into the mix because of a small percentage of that population of kids that may have questions about their gender, and they do exist. I have no doubt in my mind that is a real thing, but to then give that to every single child in that room, I think that just confuses young children, and I think that maybe down the line that has effects on their own ability to form relationships, their own ability to form happiness at home, and perhaps even their mental health. But I'm not one to sort of guess that at this point. I don't think the people who go to these events as drag queens have the worst intentions, but I think some kids come away from it not knowing if they're going to grow up to be a mummy or a daddy, if you know what I mean. Now, in reality, this debate does not even matter, because after this event took place, the video that was captured by someone at the event then went viral on Twitter. This video right here.
Drag queens are not for kids. Drag queens are not for kids. Drag queens are not for kids. Very much. Drag queens are not for kids. 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 Drag queens are not for kids.
You do not have permission to film me.
GPS has been called.
Are you just going to hold the camera on my face like that indefinitely?
Drag queens are not for kids. 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 Drag queens are not for kids.
The video was captured by someone in the background of a young man and a drag queen having a conversation, a very heated conversation, saying drag queens are not for kids. They're trying to argue back and forth. This went viral, super viral, had about 1 million views overnight, and thousands of comments on that video. Very, very angry at the young guy in the front of the video and the young people in general in the video. And in a absolutely horrifying turn of events, the young man in question at the front of that video, Gavin Wilson, was found dead only a few hours after that video went viral at 7 a.m. on Monday morning. And it was, for me to read that whilst I was writing the story on this book event, trying to weigh up whether it was okay or not okay, it sort of made me go, fuck, that's so real. We oftentimes on the internet, we go through these periods where we hate people and we chase people with our comments, and we need to remember that these do have real world ramifications. Take the video I released last night. It's about Healthy Emmy. Now, I've picked on her several times, but every single time I make a video about her, I check in with her and I make sure she's okay with it and she's cool with it, and we've built a rapport. You know, we certainly don't hate each other. And there's been other times where I haven't done that, but when that is possible, I do try and make that available to the person who I'm picking on. But also, you need to learn, and this isn't directed at anyone watching this, but maybe this is directed at someone that you know, that when you tell someone to kill themselves on the internet or in real life, that can have serious repercussions. And you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what's going on in their mind. Mental health is a very, very tumultuous attack upon one's own mind. It's very easy to get lost in the very catacombs that are your mind. And that's how my experience with mental health problems have occurred over time, and things that I've sought treatment for. But this young man who was found dead was attacked by the media, the general public, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, the fucking Veronicas. Like, everyone come out after this young dude, and for whatever reason, whatever was going on in his own mind, he was a straw that broke the camel's back, for lack of a better term. And to his family, I'm shattered for you. I'm so sorry. I remember I found this story when I was in the car, and I was just pulled over because I don't break the law, and someone had sent it to me on Instagram, and I read it. I was just like, oh fuck, you kidding me? Like, that's horrible. It's so fucking horrible. And I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. Many people on Twitter changed their tunes immediately after this. Like, people were calling for blood, and then they got it, and they changed their tunes straight away. One who I thought was very interesting was one of the drag queens came out and said how horrible it was. But their name was, and bearing in mind, this drag queen was at an event for kids. Now, this is the last thing I'll say on this. Her name was Diamond Goodrim. A book event for kids, and your name is Goodrim. Probably need to change that. But I mean, who gives a shit at this point? And so that's why I thought I would just take this opportunity in the video. As a lot of people have, they've been pointing out Lifeline and all these other places people can go if they're having serious suicidal thoughts. And if you are doing that, if you are having those thoughts, then please go after whatever means necessary to find help. Because help, I know it sounds silly, but help can help. And a lot of people, I've been in those situations where you just think that, you know, there's no help that will ever assist you in any way, and that's just wrong. It's just not true. You are lost in your own mind, and there is a way out. You just need to find it. But also, in saying that, if you're not at that end of the spectrum and you're just starting to notice little changes within yourself, maybe you're not hanging out with your mates as much, maybe you're down a little bit more, maybe you're super anxious, maybe there's changes going on in your own mind, please go and book an appointment with your GP. Now, I know that sounds like, you know, obviously, but a lot of people don't do it, particularly men and a lot of women. You're not less of a man if you go to your GP and talk about how you're feeling. Okay, so then your GP, what'll happen then? They'll give you a mental health plan. You'll go to a psychologist, and that's where these things can really open up. Because a lot of this stuff, the way to get through these things is talk therapy, and that's the start. I mean, that's you know, not the be all end all, but that's definitely the start, and that's what I would urge you all to do if you are having problems. But to the young man's family, I'm very sorry for your loss. It's absolutely horrible. And please, if you are going to attack people online, just know that the things that you do say do have ramifications. But anyway, on with the regular segment. And yeah, back to the regular segment. G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the greatest news service that you ever did see. That is the Butterfield Broadcast News Service Systems, and we are back for another brand spanking year of news, opinions, talking mad shit, and all that fantastically wonderful stuff. And let's kick it off the best way that I know possible, by hitting the music. In worst possible news this week, an absolutely horrifying affair has taken place with former actress... Oh, this is just disgusting. I can't believe I'm going to talk about it. Gwyneth Paltrow making a candle that smells exactly like her vagina. Ladies, can I just say this real quick? You are far too confident with the smell of your gash, all right? I know you're proud and you're brave and you're powerful and the future's female and all that bullshit, but listen, no one cares what your fanny smells like. We do not care, all right? No, don't be proud of that. Don't run. I know you see the BuzzFeed videos where they're making yogurt out of their pussy. No one wants to eat that yogurt, all right? No, just give me the Yoplait Petite Niam and fuck that gash stinking old yogurt. Throw it out the window. Get it out the window. I don't want anything to do with it. Maybe a bit of Greek yogurt if I'm feeling adventurous, but I do not want that clam chowder of a yogurt blend. You can fuck off. It's a hole. Why are you so proud, Gwyneth, of a hole, all right? I know I just said Gwyneth, and I didn't pronounce the TH as th, like I'm from some low socioeconomic background. I meant to say Gwyneth. Gwyneth! You bitch! It's just a hole. That's my point here. And when are you talking about your vagina? When is this vagina stank coming in? Are you talking about your stank when you after some exercise? Are you post-cream pie stank? Is that what we're talking about here? Is it after a week of non-showers? Have you recently opened a beer bottle with your fanny? Is that what is the stank we're talking about here, Gwyneth? The thing is, blokes would never do this. All right? They would never, ever do this. I would certainly never make a candle that's me dick stinks candle. Or would I? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to announce my brand new product, and that is Stinky Dinky Dicky Foreskin Candle. Ladies and gentlemen, this candle absolutely reeks of smegma. Have you not showered for a month? I know I certainly haven't. So why don't you light up this in the room and you'll know that some fish has died somewhere in there, okay? I know it smells like an old meat patty from a Macca's drive-thru that's been stuck under your seat for 6.5 months. And yeah, sure, that smells not great. When it's coming from underneath a 40, it's a great stink and it's perfect for any candle lover ever. And all the sales this month will be donated to the Kids Without Foreskins charity. Sadly, many children every single year have their foreskins taken off and donated to Jeffrey Epstein's charity. So to all the children out there who don't have foreskins, this one's for you, kids. This one's for you. Oh, and by the way, Gwyneth's fucking candle sold out in less than 72 hours. That's fucking gross. Going on with celebrity news, Ricky Gervais, comedian from the UK, a very funny comedian, a very humorous individual, star of The Office and just recently Afterlife. He's an amazing comic, he's an amazing producer, director and actor, and Ricky hosted the Golden Globes for the fucking 5th time, and every other time he's caused a lot of hurrah or ruckus, and it would be remiss of him not to do that, so he carried on, and it was hilarious.
You'll be pleased to know this is the last time I'm hosting these awards, so I don't care anymore. I'm joking. I never did. The world got to see James Corden as a fat pussy. Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show. A superb drama, yeah. A superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China.
Everyone's mad at him after this in Hollywood, after he did something that he was basically paid to do. Not basically, what am I talking about? He was paid to do. He's a comedian doing his monologue for the Golden Globes. He told jokes. His monologue was full of great jokes, but my favourite, and I think everyone's favourite, was the dig that he had at all the people in Hollywood when he basically, I'll play it in a moment, but when he basically said, no one gives a fuck what you people think, shut the fuck up.
If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and... So... It's already 3 hours long.
A lot of people enjoyed it, most people enjoyed it, but a lot of people also came out and said, how dare he say this and all this type of stuff. People were calling him right-wing. They were saying he was a right-wing comedian because he was making fun of people in the Hollywood realm. And I think this is something that happens a lot. People throw this mud that is right-wing, and they say it about comedians. They've said it about me. I don't think I'm right-wing at all. I think I'm very, very much in the middle of things, taking the best from both worlds. But they do this because they try and make you look silly. They take all the credibility away from you by calling you right-wing. But I've noticed that there's one thing that all quote-unquote right-wing comedians have in common, and that is they're hilarious. All these people that the media labels right-wing are always telling offensive and hilarious jokes, just like Ricky Gervais does. And I'm not on the same level as Ricky Gervais, don't even get me started. But I also tell these type of humorous observations, and I've been called right-wing as well. So for all of those people labeling Ricky Gervais out there right-wing, wake up to yourself, you cocksucker. What's right-wing about going after the richest and most powerful people in the world, you fucking turds? And if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, in war news, World War III news, it started last week and now it's over. And I was listening to it, I was watching tweets about it, I was watching it grow. There was a Twitter page called World War III Updates, and that was shut down by Twitter, which I thought was very interesting. But one of the things that I noticed about it was hard for people to wrap their heads around what actually happened. So what I've done, because I often find it very boring to go into the political side of all these type of things, I thought I would break it down in a way that we could all understand, and that is through a primary school mindset. Okay, and I've written it down here. Okay, so Donald, just a boy in primary school, just Donald, walked over to a boy by the bubbler. Let's say his name is Qassam Soleimani. Donald says, "Hey Qassam, did you throw eggs at my house the other day?" "Yes," says Qassam. So Donald walks away and calls in an airstrike to the bubblers. Qassam's dead. Everyone freaks the fuck out. "Why did you do that, Donald?" Then Donald explains that Qassam actually happens to be the second in charge of Iran's military and was basically behind several terrorist plots, including ones in London and India. Some people still complain. Most people think, fuck that guy. I'm glad an airstrike hit the bubblers. But other people freak the fuck out because Donald did it. And anything that Donald does, regardless of how good or bad it is, they freak the fuck out. All Soleimani's friends say, "You better watch your back, Donald. We're coming for your toys." And Donald says, "Bring it, bitch." Shirts off in the gravel. Surface-to-air missiles or eggs go back and forth for maybe 12 hours. Everyone worries about an all-in brawl, or World War III, whatever you want to call it. Iran then shoots a Ukrainian aeroplane down, killing 180-something people for some fucking stupid reason. Everyone starts swinging their dicks back and forth. My dad's bigger than your dad, and my dad will fucking bash your dad, yada, yada, yada. And then the war's over. We're back to normal life. No more wars this week. Well, America's been in a war, or state of war, for the last 200 plus years. But that's what the military-industrial complex does. Peace is very bad for profits.